Welcome to Module 1, Opening the Bar. This is one of the most important parts of being a bartender. If you start unprepared, your whole night will feel like you're playing catch-up. But when you open correctly, everything flows smoother. Customers are happier, drinks come out faster, and tips pile up. In this module, I'm going to walk you step by step through the proper opening routine. Think of it as your pre-game warm-up before the real action starts. First things first, clock in. Sounds basic, but you'd be surprised how many new bartenders forget this. And guess what? If you don't clock in, you don't get paid. I've even seen rookies work half a shift for free because they thought someone else would fix it later. Before you even touch a bottle, keg, or garnish, make clocking in your very first move. Next up, your bank. This is your starting cash drawer for the night. Always count it yourself to make sure the amount matches what you should be starting your shift with. And here's a veteran trick. Keep all bills facing the same direction. Why? Because when you've got a line of thirsty customers, fumbling through a messy drawer looks sloppy and slows you down. Organized money equals faster change, faster service, and better tips. Next up, the kegs. Check all of your kegs and turn on all of the beer lines. There's nothing worse than going to pour your first draft beer and realizing you're out. A dry keg 5 minutes into happy hour? Instant embarrassment. Always test your taps early. Better to fix it now than explain it later to an annoyed customer. If and when you do need to change a keg, ask for help. The kegs are very heavy, and we don't want anyone getting injured on the job. Grab your requisition form. This is your shopping list for the shift. It tells you what's low and what needs restocking. This will include all alcohol and tools, straws, napkins, and other necessary equipment or supplies you may need for the night. Fill everything now. Imagine running out of grenadine or limes mid-shift. Every second you're hunting for supplies during a rush, you're losing sales and tips. So stock heavy before the doors even open. Check your reach-ins. These are the refrigerators that are located under or behind your bar. Make sure to stock any beer, wine, mixers, and glassware in your reach-ins if they are low or empty. Smell your juices and cream. If they've soured, toss them. Make sure any mixers or garnishes have the dates on them. If it's old, toss it out. Serving a customer a spoiled cocktail isn't just bad service. It can end your shift on the spot. Setting up your 3-sink system. The first sink will be filled with hot water and a detergent for washing the glasses. The second sink will be filled with cold water for rinsing. Your third sink will be filled with warm water and a sanitizer for disinfecting. Pro tip, don't overdo the sanitizer. Too much and your glasses will smell like chemicals. That smell carries into the drink, and trust me, nobody orders a second cocktail if their first one tastes like bleach. Check your glassware. If it's cloudy or spotted, rewash it. Customers notice when they have a dirty glass. A perfect cocktail in a dirty glass is still a bad cocktail in their eyes. Make sure to let glasses air dry. If any wine glasses or martini glasses need polished, make sure to use a proper polishing rag. A towel will leave lint and will have you rewashing the glasses. Remember, the glass is the stage, the drink is the performance. Time to get your garnishes ready. Cut your fruit and stock your garnish trays. Always use fresh fruit. If yesterday's garnishes look tired, toss them. A dead lime wedge makes your whole bar look lazy. Here's a tip. Soak lemons and limes in warm water before cutting. You'll get way more juice out of them. Fill your ice bin all the way up with ice. Check napkins, straws, stir sticks, and soda syrups. Think of this like loading your ammo before battle. Once the crowd hits, you won't have time to refill. A bartender without ice is like a DJ without music. Dead in the water. This is the last step. Clean your bar top. Wipe it until it shines. This isn't just about looks. A spotless bar tells customers you're ready. First impressions count, and a clean, organized bar earns trust before you even serve the first drink. Let's recap the opening duties. Number 1, clock in. Number 2, count your bank. Number 3, check kegs and beer lines. Number 4, review your requisition form. Number 5, stock your reach-ins. Number 6, fill your sinks. Number 7, prep glassware. Number 8, cut garnishes. Number 9, stock ice and supplies. And last but not the least important, number 10, clean the bar top. Do this routine every shift and you'll start the night in control, not scrambling to catch up. All right, rock stars. Time to talk about every bartender's favorite part of the night, closing duties. Yep, the glamorous, sticky, mop-scented reality of the job. Let's break it down step by step so you can get out on time, instead of scrubbing drains while everyone else is already 3 shots deep at the after party. Step 1, announce last call. You've got 10 to 15 minutes to let the crowd know this is their final chance. After that, no more booze. You're not their mom, but tonight you are the boss of bedtime. Now fill those beers and wines back up. Everything should be stocked, pushed forward, and ready for the next shift. Pretend you're playing Tetris with booze, and trust me, tomorrow's bartender will worship you if you do this right. Beer drains, everybody's least favorite part. Yank out the splash gates, soak them, and blast it all with scalding hot water. If it smells like a frat house basement in July, you didn't do it right. All fruit and juice goes in the fridge. Save the good stuff, toss the science experiments. Rule of thumb, if it's still fresh, keep it. If it looks like it belongs in a museum, trash it. Grab a rag and wipe down those bottles. Sticky bottles equals fruit flies, and fruit flies are basically tiny drunks that never leave. If you can't lock bottles up, wrap the pour spouts like you're tucking them in for the night. Your well should shine like a brand new shaker. Wipe racks, wash jockeys, clean stainless steel. Pro tip, run hot water over ice to save time. It's like giving your bar an exfoliating spa treatment. Every single glass comes in. Don't leave one lonely pint glass sitting on a table like it's in a sad breakup movie. Wash them, dry them, and put them away where they belong. Wipe everything. Tables, bar tops, and yes, the ashtrays. Nothing says classy establishment like leaving yesterday's Marlboro buffet out for the morning crew. Empty your sinks, pull those drains, and check for clogs. You'd be shocked how many straws, napkins, and lime wedges try to unionize down there. Every once in a while, run some bleach through so your drains don't smell like Satan's armpit. Take out the trash and dirty linens, every single one. The goal is to leave the place looking like a bar, not a frat house after homecoming. Lock up every cabinet, storage area, and bottle. If you forget this step and something goes missing, congratulations. It's your problem now. Last but not least, money time. Run your shift report, count your tips, and separate receipts. Keep all the visas together, MasterCards together, and cash separate. Basically, organize it like a high school clique. Once everything balances and the bar is clean, boom, you're free. Time to go home, or better yet, go join the after-shift shenanigans you've been smelling from the patio all night. And there you have it, the closing bartender checklist. Do it right, and your bar manager will love you. Do it wrong, and, well, let's just say you'll be on bathroom cleaning duty next week. Cheers. Now close this place down like a pro. All right, team. Listen, you're not just here to pour drinks. You're the face of the bar. Your attitude, effort, and how you treat people, that's what brings them back and makes them tip you way better than that sad little 10 to 15% average. Let's talk about how to turn first-time customers into regulars who know your schedule better than your mom. Step 1, be polite. Greet everyone. Thank everyone. Use sir or ma'am. Unless they look offended, then just smile and move on. Make eye contact. Use names for your regulars. And yes, ladies first. It's old school, but it works. You'd be surprised how far a simple smile and good manners will take you. Step 2, be sociable. You don't have to be the life of the party, but at least be part of the conversation. Talk to your customers. Polite conversation keeps them drinking and keeps them tipping. Know what's happening in the world. Local news, sports, whatever's trending. Avoid the awkward silence. Small talk is your friend. Step 3, appearance. Your uniform should look clean, not like you just crawled out of a dive bar yourself. Hair, clean and combed. And please, no brushing your hair behind the bar. Hands and nails should be clean. Makeup, jewelry, and cologne, keep it tasteful and minimal. Bottom line, look like someone people trust to serve them food and drinks, not like someone who just lost a bet. Step 4, be efficient. Your customers shouldn't have to flag you down like they're hailing a taxi in the rain. Anticipate your guest needs. If someone's drink is running low, ask if they want another. And try to remember what your regulars drink. Nothing makes someone feel special like having their drink waiting before they ask. Step 5, acknowledge the guest. Your customer is always first. Period. Ignore the TV, ignore restocking bottles, ignore whatever nonsense is happening behind the bar. If you're busy, at least make eye contact. Say, "I'll be right with you," and drop a coaster or napkin in front of them. That tiny move tells them they're seen and stops them from storming out and leaving you a big fat zero tip. Step 6, avoid sensitive issues. Religion, politics, major social debates. Leave them out of the bar talk. Your job is to keep the vibe light, not to start a debate club. Stay neutral, smile, and pour. Trust me, arguing with a customer about politics is the fastest way to kiss that tip goodbye. And finally, step 7, keep the bar clean. Nobody wants to sit at a sticky bar. As soon as someone leaves, clear the glassware, wipe the counter, and make it look like no one was ever there. A clean bar makes you look professional and makes customers want to stick around longer. And there you go. 7 simple steps to keep customers happy, coming back, and tipping like champions. Remember, great drinks bring them in once. Great service brings them back forever. Now get out there, smile, and make that money. All right, team, time to talk about the big one, the bartender's role. You're not just a drink slinger. You are the host, the therapist, the referee, and occasionally the late-night comedian. Let's break down exactly what this job really is and why you're basically the glue holding this entire operation together. First up, you're the host of the party every single night. Smile, greet people, make them feel like they just walked into their bar. Your vibe sets the tone. If you're grumpy, the whole bar feels it. If you're friendly and welcoming, boom, instant regulars. Yep, part of your job is to actually make the drinks. Know your recipes. Pour accurately. Don't drown a drink in booze just to impress somebody, unless they're tipping you in 20s. Quality matters, because a well-made cocktail keeps them coming back. Like it or not, you're also the unofficial therapist. People come to the bar to celebrate, to vent, to cry over breakups, and sometimes to talk to the only person who'll actually listen, you. You don't have to fix their problems, but nodding, smiling, and tossing in the occasional, "Yeah, man, that's rough," will go a long way. Every now and then, you've got to play referee. Cut people off before they turn into a problem. Break up arguments before they turn into WWE matches. Keep things safe and fun. Nobody wants a bar fight ruining their night or your tip jar. And don't forget, you're also in sales. Upsell top shelf liquor. Suggest appetizers. Get them to try that new seasonal cocktail. Every extra sale means more tips for you and more money for the bar. Finally, you're the closer. When the night's over, you shut it down. Clean, stocked, locked, and ready for tomorrow. Think of it as putting your bar to bed. Tuck it in nice and tight so it's fresh in the morning. So yeah, you're not just slinging drinks back there. You're the host, the mixologist, the therapist, the referee, the salesperson, and the closer. Basically, you're running the whole show and doing it with a smile. Own it, rock it. And remember, a great bartender doesn't just make drinks, they make the night unforgettable. All right, crew, time to talk about drink orders, aka bartender language class. Because nothing is more fun than decoding orders while three people wave their credit cards at you like they're at an auction. Let's make sure you know the lingo so you look like a pro instead of a deer in headlights. NEAT is bartender code for just booze in a glass. No ice, no mixer, no garnish, just liquid courage, straight up. Think of it as the drink for people who want to skip the foreplay and get right to the point. On the rocks means over ice. Simple. Don't be the bartender that asks if they want ice. That's literally what rocks means. Pour it over cubes, smile, done. Up means they want it cold, but not swimming in ice. Shake or stir it with ice, strain it into a pretty glass, and boom, instant fancy. Perfect for the customer who wants to look sophisticated while spilling half of it on the bar. Straight up is where it gets tricky. Here's the fun part. Straight up usually means the same thing as up, unless your customer actually means neat. So do the smart thing, smile and ask, chilled or room temp? Better to double check than remake it when they say, I wanted it neat, rookie. Dirty means olive juice, plain and simple. Lightly dirty, just a hint. Extra dirty or filthy. Load it up until it's cloudy and briny. The key here is balance. Give them what they asked for, not what you think they can handle. Dry means less vermouth. Extra dry? That's when you just wave the vermouth bottle over the glass like you're blessing it. Martini drinkers live for this drama. Tall is just a bigger glass with more ice and more mixer, not more booze. So when someone orders a tall vodka soda, don't think you're doubling their vodka. You're just giving them a little more hydration with their regret. Double means double the booze, so pour like you mean it. They're paying extra for it, so don't short pour or you'll end up on their never tip again list. With a twist means they want a cute little piece of citrus peel on the glass. It will be the rind only. You will take the peel and gently twist it over the cocktail. This will release the aromatic oils into the cocktail. You will rub the rim with the out part of the twist and drop it in the drink. Don't toss in a sad lemon wedge and call it a day. That's how you get bartender side-eye from the regulars. Back or chaser means they want a second glass with something to sip after the shot. Water, Coke, maybe even pickle juice if they're living dangerously. Whatever you do, don't mix it with the shot. A floater is just a pretty layer of liquor on top. Pour it gently over the back of a spoon and watch it sit there like a crown. Skip the spoon and you just made a splashy mess instead of a cool layered drink. Learn the difference. Build. Make it right in the glass. No shaking, no fuss. Shake, ice, tin. Shake it like it owes you money. Stir, gentle mix, classy James Bond vibes. Mess this up and you'll have a watered-down drink or a customer giving you the look. And there you go, crew. Your crash course in bartender lingo. Learn it, own it, and you'll never panic when someone orders a double tall dirty gin martini with a twist. Confidence is key, and nothing says pro like getting it right the first time. All right, crew. Today we're talking about the holy grail of bartending, the free pour. That's right. No jiggers, no measuring cups, just you, the bottle, and gravity. Get it right, and you'll look like a pro. Get it wrong, and congratulations, you just overpoured the house into bankruptcy. Free pouring isn't just showing off. It's about speed, consistency, and control. Your goal? Pour the exact amount every time while looking smooth. Because nobody tips extra for sloppy drinks. And managers hate wasted liquor more than they hate karaoke night. Here's the secret weapon, the 4 count. Every liquor spout is designed to pour about 1/4 ounce per second. So 1, 2, 3, 4 equals 1 ounce. You're basically counting beats like a DJ, except instead of dropping the bass, you're dropping tequila. Grip the neck between your thumb and fingers. Tilt it smooth, not like you're watering plants. A clean, confident flip makes you look like you know what you're doing. And for the love of tips, don't death grip the bottle like it's trying to escape. Want to master it? Practice. Line up some empty bottles and fill with water, place a pour spout on the bottle, and practice your 4 count into a cup. Pour the water into the cup and use a 1 ounce shot glass or a jigger to measure. If the shot or the 4 count is too heavy or too short, speed up or slow down your count to make the proper adjustments. You'll look ridiculous at first, but once you've got the rhythm, you'll pour perfect shots without even looking. And yes, you're allowed to feel cool about it. Free pouring isn't juggling bottles or lighting citrus peels on fire. It's about accuracy first, flair second. Look smooth, sure, but if you can't pour a 1.5 ounce shot without drowning the glass, put the circus tricks on hold. And that's the art of the free pour. Get the rhythm down and you'll be fast, smooth, and accurate. Mess it up and you're either giving away the bar's profits or serving shots so weak your customers will order from someone else. So count it right, pour it tight, and make every drink look effortless. All right, you guys, let's kick off our liquor deep dive with vodka, the smooth talker of the back bar. Vodka is like that one friend who shows up to every party, sometimes dressed up, sometimes cheap, but always there. So what exactly is vodka? By definition, it's a neutral spirit, usually around 40% alcohol, distilled until it's basically flavorless. It can be made from grains like wheat, rye, or corn, or potatoes if you're feeling old school. In short, vodka is alcohol stripped down to the basics. It's clean, it's clear, and it plays nice with just about everything. Vodka's roots go way back. We're talking the 8th or 9th century, and like most booze, everybody argues about who did it first. Russia says it's ours. Poland says, nope, we invented it. Honestly, who cares? What matters is vodka was born in Eastern Europe, and it's been fueling questionable decisions ever since. Here's the thing about vodka. It didn't go global until the mid-1900s. In the US, it blew up after World War II, thanks to marketing campaigns that bragged it was odorless and tasteless. Translation, you can drink it and still show up to work the next day pretending you're fine. Now let's talk brands. Behind most bars, you'll see Smirnoff, the classic workhorse. Cheap, reliable, does the job. Absolute, the 80s marketing darling, known for its artsy ads. Tito's, America's craft vodka, corn-based, gluten-free, and beloved by millennials. Grey Goose, premium French vodka, fancy enough to make people feel important. Belvedere, Poland's upscale entry, smooth and classy, so whether someone orders well vodka or wants to flex with top shelf, you'll know what to grab. And that's vodka, clean, versatile, and always ready to mix. Whether it's in a martini, a Bloody Mary, or just splashed with soda, vodka's the backbone of half your cocktail menu. Learn the brands, pour it smooth, and remember, vodka may not have much flavor, but it sure has history. Gin is basically vodka with personality. It starts out as a neutral spirit, then it's flavored with juniper berries and other botanicals. Juniper gives it that piney kick, while extras like coriander, citrus peel, or even cucumber give each brand its own signature twist. So if vodka is the blank canvas, gin is the painting. Gin's roots trace back to Holland in the 1600s with a drink called Genever. The Dutch used it for medicinal purposes because apparently everything was medicine back then if it had alcohol in it. British soldiers tried it, loved it, and brought it back home. That kicked off the infamous London gin craze, where everyone was drinking so much gin, the city practically ran on juniper fumes. Over time, gin went from street-level cheap booze to a refined classic. By the 19th century, gin and tonics were the drink of choice for British officers in India, mostly because the tonic water had quinine to fight malaria. Imagine that. Doctor's orders, better have another round. Today, gin is all about balance, crisp, herbal, and versatile in cocktails. Now let's talk brands. Behind most bars, you'll see Beefeater, the classic London dry, reliable and bold. Tanqueray, smooth, juniper heavy, the bartender's standard. Bombay Sapphire comes in the pretty blue bottle, lighter and floral. Hendrick's, known for cucumber and rose botanicals, the hipster's gin. Plymouth, softer, slightly sweeter, with a long history. From well pours to top shelf, gin's got range, and you'll want to know which bottle matches which cocktail. And that's gin. Crisp, botanical, and unapologetically pine-forward. Whether it's in a martini, a Negroni, or a simple gin and tonic, gin brings character to the glass. Learn your brands, respect the juniper, and remember, gin might not be everyone's best friend, but for the people who love it, nothing else comes close. Rum is liquid sugar cane magic. Distilled from either fresh sugar cane juice or molasses, it's naturally sweeter than most spirits. Light rum? That's your go-to for mixing. Clean, crisp, and plays nice in cocktails. Gold rum? A little aged, a little deeper, gives drinks more body. Dark rum? Bold, rich, full of caramel and spice. Great for sipping or tiki drinks. And spiced rum? That's the party version, loaded up with flavors like vanilla, cinnamon, or nutmeg. Basically, rum has a style for everyone, from beach bums to fine sippers. Rum was born in the Caribbean back in the 1600s. Colonists figured out the molasses left over from sugar production could be fermented and distilled. And boom, rum was born. Sailors and pirates spread it across the seas, making rum the drink of choice for anyone living a life of questionable decisions on the water. By the 1700s, rum was fueling taverns, trade, and plenty of trouble. Fast forward a few centuries, and rum became the backbone of tropical cocktails. Think daiquiris, mojitos, piña coladas, and mai tais. Basically, if the drink has an umbrella in it, odds are rum is the star of the show. Behind the bar, these are the bottles you'll get familiar with. Bacardi, the world's most famous light rum, smooth and easy. Captain Morgan, the spiced rum king, mascot included. Malibu, coconut-flavored rum that screams beach party. Mount Gay, one of the oldest rum brands in the world. Appleton Estate, Jamaican rum, bold and full of character. Diplomatico, premium Venezuelan rum, rich and complex. From well pours to high-end sippers, rum has you covered. And that's rum, sweet, versatile, and always ready for a good time. Whether it's in a mojito, blended into a piña colada, or just splashed with Coke, rum brings the island vibes. Just remember, pirates may have built their legend on rum, but bartenders keep their jobs by pouring it right. All right, legends, time to talk about tequila. Loved by some, feared by many, and responsible for more bad tattoos than any other spirit. Let's break it down so you know what's in the bottle, where it came from, and which brands you'll actually use behind the bar. Tequila is a spirit made from the blue agave plant, that spiky cactus-looking thing grown mostly in Jalisco, Mexico. To be called tequila, it has to be at least 51% blue agave, but the good stuff? That's 100% agave, smooth and flavorful. Cheap tequila will burn all the way down, but quality tequila is silky, earthy, and meant to be sipped, not just slammed with salt and lime. Tequila's roots go back hundreds of years in Mexico. Indigenous people fermented agave juice long before the Spanish arrived. When the Spanish ran out of brandy, they started distilling agave. And boom, tequila was born. Today, it's still made under strict rules in Mexico, kind of like champagne in France. If it's not from the right place, it's just a knockoff. Tequila used to be seen as a rough, party-only drink, but in the 20th century, brands started pushing tequila cocktails. Think margaritas, palomas, tequila sunrises. Then premium brands showed up, and suddenly tequila was sipping worthy. Now it's one of the fastest growing spirits in the world, and not just for college shots. Behind the bar, you'll run into these names a lot. Jose Cuervo, the classic, often the well tequila. Patron, the brand that made premium tequila mainstream. Don Julio, smooth, balanced, and a customer favorite. Herradura, one of the oldest, rich in flavor and history. Casamigos, the George Clooney tequila, smooth and trendy. From shots to top shelf sippers, you'll use all of these. Now let's talk about tequila's five main types, because not all tequila is created equal. Blanco, silver, clear, unaged, bottled straight after distillation. Crisp, fresh, and all agave. Perfect for margaritas, palomas, or a quick shot when life calls for it. Gold, Joven, a mix of aged and unaged tequila, sometimes sweetened or colored for that golden hue. Smoother, sweeter, and often used as your go-to well tequila. Reposado, aged at least 2 months but less than a year in oak. Soft, golden, and slightly oaky. Perfect balance between the bite of Blanco and the smoothness of aged tequila. Añejo, aged 1 to 3 years in oak barrels. Darker, rich, and full-bodied. This is sipping tequila. Treat it like whiskey, not a party starter. Extra Añejo, aged more than 3 years. Deep, complex, luxurious, and pricey. This is top-shelf stuff meant to be savored slowly, not chased with lime. And that's tequila, Mexico's gift to the world, made from blue agave and best enjoyed with respect. Whether it's a margarita, a paloma, or a carefully poured añejo, tequila deserves more than just a salt and lime chaser. Treat it right, and it'll be your best friend. Treat it wrong, and well, let's just say you'll remember it in the morning. All right, pros, let's talk about bourbon, the smooth-talking, all-American whiskey with more personality than your Saturday night crowd. It's bold, it's rich, and it's got a history full of outlaws, bootleggers, and bar fights. So grab your notepad and maybe a glass because this one's worth savoring. Bourbon is America's contribution to the whiskey world, a spirit made mostly from corn, giving it that sweet, rich flavor. To legally be called bourbon, it has to check a few boxes, at least 51% corn in the mash bill, distilled to no more than 160 proof, aged in new, charred oak barrels, none of that reused stuff, and bottled at no less than 80 proof. No shortcuts, no funny business. If it doesn't meet those rules, it's just wannabe whiskey trying to ride bourbon's coattails. Bourbon was born right here in the U.S., mostly in Kentucky, back in the late 1700s. Farmers with leftover corn started distilling it into something drinkable, and let's just say they nailed it. The name bourbon most likely comes from Bourbon County, Kentucky, though the locals still argue about that. Either way, Kentucky became bourbon's forever home, thanks to its limestone water and humid aging conditions that give the spirit its signature smoothness. Bourbon's had quite the roller coaster ride, from backwoods stills to Prohibition nightmares to Hollywood glamour. After Prohibition ended, brands like Jim Beam and Wild Turkey brought bourbon roaring back. Fast forward to today, and bourbon isn't just whiskey, it's a whole culture. Craft distilleries, bourbon trails, collector bottles. It's big business, and it's booming harder than ever. Behind the bar, you'll get familiar with these American whiskey heavy hitters. Jim Beam, the go-to classic, smooth and dependable. Maker's Mark, rich, sweet, and sealed with that iconic red wax. Wild Turkey, bold, spicy, and not for the faint of heart. Woodford Reserve, smooth, premium, and often the house favorite for old fashions. Knob Creek, small batch bourbon with deep flavor and high proof. Buffalo Trace, complex, balanced, and beloved by whiskey nerds everywhere. Whether it's a shot, a sipper, or the base of a cocktail, bourbon always makes a statement. And that's bourbon. Smooth, strong, and unapologetically American. Born in Kentucky, raised by tradition, and enjoyed by anyone who appreciates a good pour, it's not just whiskey, it's history in a glass. So pour it right, serve it with respect, and remember, a great bourbon doesn't need a chaser, just a good story. All right, bartenders, let's head down south where whiskey comes with a drawl and a little extra smoothness. We're talking Tennessee whiskey, bourbon's close cousin with its own twist. Tennessee whiskey is technically a bourbon, but it earns its name through one special step, the Lincoln County process. Before aging, the whiskey is filtered through charcoal made from sugar maple wood. That mellows it out and gives it that smooth, sweet finish. It's all about patience and purity. No shortcuts here. The term sour mash just means part of a previous batch is used to start the next one. Kind of like using a starter in sourdough bread. It keeps the flavor consistent and the fermentation balanced. Nothing sour about it. It's just good whiskey science. When it comes to Tennessee whiskey, a few names rule the roost. Jack Daniels, the icon. Smooth, charcoal filtered, and loved worldwide. George Dickel, rich, balanced, and a favorite among whiskey drinkers in the know. Both are classic, southern, and smoother than a country song on a Friday night. And that's Tennessee whiskey, bourbon's smoother, sweeter brother. Filtered slow, aged right, and best served with confidence. Pour it neat or with a single rock, and you'll never go wrong. All right, A, we're heading north, where the whiskey's smooth, the accents are friendly, and the bottles come with manners. Yep, we're talking Canadian whiskey, light, mixable, and sneakier than it looks. Canadian whiskey is usually made from a blend of grains, mostly corn, with some rye, barley, or wheat tossed in for character. That's what gives it that smooth, mellow flavor. And here's the kicker. In Canada, they can call it rye whiskey, even if there's barely any rye in it. Confusing? A little. Delicious? Absolutely. Think of Canadian whiskey as the chill cousin who never starts drama, just makes every drink better. Canada's been making whiskey since the 1800s, but things really got interesting during American Prohibition. When the U.S. said, no booze allowed, Canada said, no problem, we'll ship it to you. Bootleggers smuggled Canadian whiskey across the border by the barrel, keeping America hydrated one speakeasy at a time. So yeah, you could say Canada kept the party going. Behind the bar, these bottles are your go-tos. Crown Royal, smooth, elegant, and comes in that fancy purple bag. Canadian Club, classic, clean, and perfect for cocktails. Each one's easy to mix, easy to sip, and easy to love. And that's Canadian whiskey. Smooth, balanced, and never in a hurry to prove itself. It's not loud, it's not flashy. It just gets the job done, like every great bartender should. All right, pros, let's hop across the pond for a quick one. Irish whiskey, smooth, mellow, and polite enough to ask if you're enjoying it before knocking you on your ass. Irish whiskey is made from a mix of malted and unmalted barley, triple distilled for that silky smooth finish. It's aged at least 3 years in wooden casks, and usually has a lighter, softer flavor than bourbon or scotch. In short, it's whiskey with charm and manners. Ireland's been making whiskey longer than anyone, like since the 1100s. It was once the most popular spirit in the world until Scotch came along and stole some thunder. But don't worry, Ireland made a comeback, and now Irish whiskey is booming again worldwide. Behind the bar, you'll see Jameson, the best known, smooth and reliable; Bushmills, the oldest licensed distillery, light and crisp; Tullamore Dew, balanced and easy drinking; Redbreast, a premium single pot, still whiskey with depth. Each one's got that signature Irish smoothness, perfect for sipping or mixing. And that's Irish whiskey, light, friendly, and dangerously easy to drink. It's the whiskey that plays well with others and still manages to steal the spotlight. All right, legends, time to head north. We're talking Scotch whiskey, smoky, bold, and proud enough to spell it without the E. It's the drink of poets, old souls, and anyone who thinks peaty is a compliment. Scotch whiskey is made in Scotland. No exceptions. It's distilled mostly from malted barley and aged for at least 3 years in oak barrels. What makes Scotch unique? The flavor, sometimes smooth and honeyed, sometimes smoky and earthy, depending on where it's made. Every sip tastes like a little piece of the Highlands. Here's where things get interesting. Single malt versus blended Scotch. A single malt comes from one distillery and is made using 100% malted barley. It's pure, distinctive, and shows off that distillery's unique character. A blended Scotch mixes whiskeys from multiple distilleries, usually combining malt whiskey and grain whiskey for balance and consistency. In plain bartender terms, single malts are like artists and blends are like greatest hits albums. Both great, just different styles. Scotland's got 5 main whiskey regions, each with its own personality. Highlands, full-bodied and rich; Lowlands, light and floral; Speyside, sweet and smooth, where most Scotch is made; Islay, smoky, peaty, and intense, the heavy hitter; Campbelltown, rare, salty, and unique. Don't worry, you don't need to memorize them. Just know not all Scotch tastes like campfire. Behind the bar, you'll likely pour Johnny Walker, the classic blended Scotch with the famous striding man; Chivas Regal, smooth and approachable; Glenfiddich, Speyside single malt, crisp and popular; Macallan, premium, rich, and luxurious; Lafroig, that smoky Islay beast people either love or hate. From single malts to blends, Scotch has something for every palate. And that's Scotch, sophisticated, smoky, and built for slow sipping. It's not just a drink, it's an attitude. Serve it neat, serve it proud, and remember, Scotch isn't rushed, it's respected. All right, legends, time to take a trip to Japan, where precision meets perfection, and whiskey isn't just made, it's crafted. Japanese whiskey takes everything you love about Scotch and makes it cleaner, calmer, and beautifully balanced. Japanese whiskey is made pretty much the same way as Scotch, mostly malted barley, double distilled, and aged in oak barrels. But here's the twist. Japanese distillers focus on balance and detail. Every drop is about harmony, smoky but soft, rich but smooth, and always elegant. It's whiskey with manners. It all started in the early 1900s when Japan learned the art of whiskey making from Scotland. Pioneers like Masataka Taketsuru brought the craft home, and distilleries like Suntory and Nikka took it to the next level. Fast forward to now, Japanese whiskey is world famous for its precision, purity, and perfection in every pour. On the back bar, you'll usually spot Suntory, Yamazaki, Hibiki, smooth, elegant, and floral; Nikka, Yoichi/Miyagikyo, bold, smoky, and balanced. They all deliver that signature Japanese touch, clean, refined, and unforgettable. And that's Japanese whiskey. Disciplined, refined, and quietly powerful. It doesn't shout for attention, it earns it. Pour it neat, sip it slow, and appreciate the craftsmanship in every drop. All right, whiskey lovers, let's take a quick stroll through what we've learned. Because after this lineup, you'll know your mash bills better than most customers know their bar tabs. Here's your crash course refresher. Bourbon, America's sweetheart, made mostly from corn and aged in brand new charred oak. Tennessee whiskey, bourbon's smoother brother, charcoal filtered and easygoing. Irish whiskey, light, triple distilled, and polite enough to buy you breakfast. Scotch, smoky, proud, and all about where it's born. Canadian whiskey, mellow, friendly, and the unsung hero of mixed drinks. Japanese whiskey, balanced, elegant, and proof that precision tastes incredible. Think of bourbon as bold, Scotch as smoky, Irish as smooth, Canadian as clean, Tennessee as sweet, and Japanese as refined. They all share one thing: time, patience, and barrels full of character. And that's the whiskey family. 6 countries, countless flavors, and a lifetime of stories in every pour. Learn them, pour them right, and always serve with pride. Because great bartenders don't just know what's in the glass, they know the story behind it. All right, bartenders, let's talk about the elegant side of the bar. Brandy and cognac, the drinks that make people swirl their glass, lean back, and suddenly start speaking with an accent. Brandy is a spirit made by distilling wine, basically taking fermented grapes and turning them into something stronger and smoother. The word brandy comes from the Dutch brandewijn, which literally means burnt wine. And if that doesn't sound fancy enough, it's usually aged in oak barrels, giving it that warm, caramel vanilla flavor that makes it perfect for slow sipping. All cognac is brandy, but not all brandy is cognac. Cognac has to come from the Cognac region of France, made from specific grapes and aged in French oak barrels. It's like champagne. Location and tradition are everything. The French don't mess around when it comes to the rules and regulations here. Cognac bottles love showing off letters like VS, VSOP, and XO. Here's what they mean. VS, very special, aged at least 2 years. VSOP, very superior old pale, aged 4 years or more. XO, extra old, aged at least 10 years, smooth and luxurious. The longer it's aged, the smoother and richer it gets, just like a good bartender. Behind the bar, you'll spot Hennessy, the world's most famous cognac, smooth and iconic. Rémy Martin, rich and refined, perfect for premium cocktails. Martell, one of the oldest cognac houses, crisp and balanced. And for brandy, you'll often see E&J or Christian Brothers. Simple, affordable, and perfect for mixing. And that's cognac and brandy. Smooth, refined, and made for sipping slow. Whether it's in a snifter or a sidecar, treat it with a little respect. It's class in a glass. All right, bartenders, time to sweeten things up. Let's talk liqueurs and cordials, the flavor boosters of the bar world. They're the difference between a good drink and a memorable one. Liqueurs, also called cordials, are spirits that have been sweetened and flavored with fruits, herbs, nuts, or spices. Think of them as the dessert section of your liquor shelf. They're lower in alcohol than base spirits and usually used to add flavor, color, or a smooth finish to cocktails. You'll use liqueurs all the time, so here are some of the usual suspects. Triple sec/Cointreau. Orange flavored, used in margaritas and cosmopolitans. Amaretto, almond flavored and perfect in a Godfather or on the rocks. Bailey's Irish Cream, creamy, chocolatey, and great in coffee or dessert drinks. Kahlua, coffee flavored, a must for white Russians and espresso martinis. Grand Marnier, orange cognac blend, rich and fancy. Midori, Bright green melon liqueur adds color and sweetness. Sambuca, anise-flavored, often served with coffee beans as a digestive. When you're working with liqueurs, a little goes a long way. They're packed with sugar and flavor, so measure carefully or you'll turn your cocktail into a candy shop. And that's liqueurs and cordials. Colorful, flavorful, and the secret weapons of a good cocktail. Used right, they make you look like a mixology genius. Used wrong, and your drink tastes like Skittles in a blender. All right, legends, it's time to talk the talk. Here's your crash course in bar lingo, the terms every real bartender should know before they step behind the stick. Let's go from A to Z, nice and easy. Aperitif, a light drink before dinner, gets the appetite going. Fancy folks call it a palate opener. We call it a pre-game. Back, a small glass of something served on the side, like water or soda to chase a shot. Bar spoon, long-handled spoon used for stirring or layering drinks. Also doubles as a sword when someone asks for 12 mojitos at once. Bitters, strong herbal flavoring used in cocktails, like salt and pepper for bartenders. Blend, to mix ingredients with ice in a blender. Think pina colada or frozen margarita. Build, making a drink directly in the glass you're serving it in. Quick and clean. Call liquor, when someone asks for a brand by name, like Jack and Coke. That's call liquor. Chaser, something you drink after a shot to calm the fire, usually soda, juice, or regret. Cocktail, a mixed drink with alcohol and mixers, basically the reason we all show up to work. Cognac, the fancy French brandy that makes people swirl their glass and act smarter. Collins, a tall drink with liquor, lemon juice, and soda, refreshing, classy, and perfect for pretending it's still brunch. Cordials/liqueurs, sweet, syrupy drinks usually sipped after dinner. Think Bailey's, amaretto, or anything your aunt drinks on Christmas. Double, 2 shots in 1 glass, twice the trouble, half the time. 86th means we're out, or they're out. Could be stock or a person. You'll figure it out fast. Float, when you pour a little liquor right on top of a drink, pretty to look at, deadly to drink. Free pouring, pouring without a jigger. It's an art form until management starts counting inventory. Frappe, a liqueur served over crushed ice. Sounds fancy, tastes cold. Garnish, that little fruit or decoration that makes a drink look Instagram-worthy. Grenadine, bright red cherry syrup made from pomegranate, sticky, sweet, and stains everything it touches. House/well liquor, the default liquor for mixed drinks. Not top shelf, but gets the job done. Jigger, your measuring tool for liquor. Keeps your pours honest, or at least consistent. Kosher salt, coarse salt for glass rims. Perfect for margaritas, not for fries. Last call, the bar's way of saying, hurry up and make bad choices. Mix, anything non-alcoholic added to booze. Soda, juice, sour mix, or whatever hides the burn. Muddler, your pestle for smashing fruit, herbs, and sugar. Also great for stress relief during rush hour. Neat, liquor served straight. No ice, no mixer, just you and your life choices. On the rocks, a drink served over ice, cold, classic, and usually the go-to order when someone just had a day. Proof, twice the alcohol percentage. 80 proof equals 40% ABV. Basically, the math of poor decisions. Reach in. Small fridge under the bar. Holds beer, wine, and anything that needs to stay cold and ready. Soda gun, your liquid lightsaber, shoots soda, cola, tonic, and magic. Speed rack, where your most used bottles live. The bartender's version of a toolbox. Splash, A tiny pour of juice or mix, just enough to pretend it's balanced. Stock, refilling the bar. Glamorous? Nope. Necessary? Always. Straight up. Chilled with ice, then strained into a glass. Smooth, cold, and classy. Tall, more mix, same booze. Makes customers feel healthier. Topless, no salt on the rim. Usually for margaritas, not bartenders. Virgin, no alcohol. Why would you order it? Who hurt you? Walk-in, the giant cooler in the back. Cold, quiet, and a great place to scream into the void. Well area, the bartender's main workspace, where the magic and mess happens. And there you have it, your crash course in bar talk. Learn these terms and you'll sound like you've been slinging drinks for years. Forget them, and you'll be that person asking what rocks means. Don't be that person. All right, let's talk about one of the bartender's favorite skills, the free pour. That's right, no jiggers, no fancy measuring tools, just you, the bottle, and a steady hand. There are two main ways to free pour. Eyeballing, which is all about sight, and counting, which is all about rhythm. Counting is more accurate, and unless you're a mind-reading wizard, you're going to need that rhythm. Here's the trick. Grab a shot glass or a jigger, make sure the fill line is marked at 1 ounce. Start pouring into a separate cup while counting out loud, 1,000, 2 1,000, and so on. A 1 ounce pour usually hits at around a 4 count. Half ounce, 2 count. 2 ounces, 8 count. If your pour is short, slow down. Too heavy? Pick up the pace. It's simple math. It's drunk people math. Let's dial in your pour. Hold the bottle by the neck, never the body, and keep your index finger on the spout for balance. Tilt it just enough to let the liquor flow smooth and even. Too flat, it'll dribble. Too high, and the pour breaks, starts chugging out in bursts. You want a steady stream, not a stutter. The key to free pouring is consistency. You're not guessing. You're training your muscle memory. Once you get your rhythm, it's like riding a bike. If your bike could get people hammered. So grab a bottle, start practicing your counts, and before long, you'll be free pouring like a pro. Smooth, fast, and confident. Remember, accuracy first, showmanship second, because flair means nothing if your pour is a mess. All right, let's talk garnishes, the jewelry of the cocktail world. They don't just make drinks look pretty, they finish the story of what's in the glass. Every bar needs the basics: limes, lemons, oranges, cherries, olives, onions, and yep, fresh mint. These are your frontline soldiers. Limes for margaritas, lemons for sours, oranges for old fashions, cherries for that sweet pop of color, olives or onions for your martinis, and mint for those mojitos, juleps, or anything that needs a fresh kick. Now let's talk cuts, because how you slice it changes everything. For wedges, start by cutting the fruit in half lengthwise, stem to tip. Now take each half and make a small slit across the top of the pulp side, just deep enough to reach the center, and make sure it's opposite the fruit's center line, not along it. That's what lets your wedge hook perfectly onto the rim of a glass. Then slice each half into 3 or 4 equal pieces. Because you made the slit first, every wedge will rest cleanly on the glass. Snug, not floppy. And remember, don't cut through the peel. For wheels, start by making a single slit along the fruit center line, from one end toward the core, about halfway through. That slit will carry through each slice when you cut, giving every wheel a perfect notch to hang on the rim. Now, keeping the fruit whole, slice straight across into thin circular pieces, about a 1/4 inch thick. It's cleaner, faster, and every wheel will sit evenly on your glass. And for half wheels, just take those wheels and slice them right down the middle. They balance beautifully without taking over the glass. Classy and functional. Orange and lemon twists are all about aroma. Peel it, roll it tight, and give it a little snap to release the oils right over the glass. That's your wow moment. Flags, classic move. A cherry and an orange slice on a cocktail pick. Perfect for a whiskey sour or Shirley Temple. Brings color, height, and balance to the drink. And now the martini family. Never forget the garnishes that define them. The classic martini wears an olive, smooth and salty, but swap that olive for a pearl onion, and congratulations, you've got yourself a Gibson. Two simple garnishes, two totally different vibes. And let's not forget mint. It's not just decoration. Always use fresh sprigs and give it a light smack before adding it to your drink. That wakes up the oils and makes your cocktail smell like summer in a glass. Quick note, not every garnish is meant to be eaten. Some are just there for style. Umbrellas, pineapple leaves, flaming peels, or anything still on fire. So remember, don't eat the decorations. Nobody wants to see you chewing on paper. So keep your fruit fresh, your cuts clean, and your garnishes on point. Because a cocktail without a garnish is like a bartender without charm. Technically fine, but missing the magic. Every great cocktail has rhythm, and behind the bar, that rhythm comes from your shake and your stir. These are the two moves that separate rookies from pros. Both look simple, but they each serve a purpose. And once you master them, everything you make behind the bar will taste cleaner, colder, and smoother. Shaking is where energy meets art. We shake drinks to chill, dilute, and aerate. That's what gives cocktails like margaritas, daiquiris, and whiskey sours that smooth, frothy texture. If it's got juice, cream, or egg white in it, you shake it. Always build your drink right in the tin. Ice goes in last. Trust me on that one. Seal the tins tight, grip with both hands, and hold the shaker at about a 45-degree angle over your shoulder. Now shake with rhythm. Fast, confident, and controlled. About 8 to 10 seconds is all you need. If your shake looks like you're fighting off bees, slow down. Smooth motion, clean rhythm. Let the ice do the heavy lifting. Stirring is the quieter cousin of shaking. We stir spirit-forward drinks, martinis, Manhattans, old fashions, to chill and dilute without aerating. Stirring keeps your cocktail clear, silky, and professional. Slide your bar spoon down the inside edge of the glass and keep it moving in one smooth circle. No splashing, no clanking, just calm precision. Aim for about 25 to 30 rotations or until the glass feels ice cold. If your drink looks like a whirlpool, you're doing too much. Stir like you're telling a secret, not mixing paint. Here's what's really happening while you shake or stir. Ice chills your drink, but it also adds water. That dilution balances the flavor. The goal is to hit about 20 to 25% dilution, which softens the alcohol and makes your drink smooth. When the tin froths up or the mixing glass feels like it's freezing your fingers, you're there. Trust your hands. They'll let you know when it's cold enough, right before you can't feel them anymore. Once your cocktail is perfectly chilled, it's time to strain. Shaken drinks use a hawthorn or fine mesh strainer to keep out ice chips. Stirred drinks use a julep strainer for that clean, silky pour. No one wants a surprise ice chunk to the teeth, so strain like a professional. Clean pour, clean glass, clean presentation. Shake for texture, stir for clarity. That's the heartbeat of a great cocktail. Master these two moves, and everything you pour will look better, taste smoother, and feel like it came from someone who actually knows what they're doing. You. Now that we've covered how to shake and stir, let's talk about how drinks actually come together. The build. Every cocktail follows a method, and knowing when to build, stir, shake, or blend separates the drink makers from the bartenders. The build method is as easy as it sounds. You're making the drink right in the glass it'll be served in. Think highballs, rum and cokes, gin and tonics. Ice goes in first, then your spirit, your mixer, and maybe even a quick stir with the bar spoon. Fast, clean, and made to order. If you're building without ice, you're basically making a warm regret. And of course, the blended method. For frozen margaritas, pina coladas, or anything that screams vacation, ice, spirit, mixers, all blended together until it's smooth enough to sip through a straw, but thick enough to hold the garnish. Basically, it's a smoothie with potential regret. And for that finishing touch, layering. Pouring ingredients slowly over the back of a spoon lets liquids stack based on density. Think B-52s, Irish coffee, or any drink that looks as good as it tastes. Move slow, steady, and watch gravity do the show. Whether you're building, stirring, shaking, or blending, it's all about balance and control. Every move you make behind the bar should look effortless, because when it does, your guests don't just get a drink, they get a show. Most people think great cocktails are all about the booze or the recipe, but the truth is, it's what's holding your drink and cooling your drink that makes all the difference. Let's talk ice and glassware, the unsung heroes behind every perfect pour. Ice isn't just there to make your drink cold. It controls dilution, texture, and taste. Different ice does different jobs. Big cubes, they melt slow. Great for old fashions or sipping spirits. Crushed ice, perfect for tropical or blended cocktails. Melts faster, keeps things refreshing. Standard cubes, the workhorse. Good for highballs, mixers, and everyday use. Now let's talk glassware. Every drink has its match. And no, it's not just for looks. Rocks glass, short and sturdy for spirit-forward drinks. Highball, tall and narrow to hold bubbles longer. Coupe, the classic for shaken or stirred cocktails. Martini, elegant and sharp for presentation. Collins, tall with room for ice and mixers. And always chill your glass before pouring. Nobody wants a warm martini. A good bartender knows their glasses like a DJ knows their beats. It's all about the right vibe. So remember, your ice and glassware set the stage before the first sip even happens. Cold glass, clean ice, right vessel. That's how you make your drinks not just taste amazing, but look like they were made by a pro. All right, if you've made it this far, take a second and give yourself some credit. You've just learned what separates someone who works behind a bar from someone who belongs behind a bar. We've covered the tools, the pours, the ice, the glassware, the garnishes, and the rhythm of the shake and stir. But bartending is about more than just recipes. It's about connection. The stories you'll hear, the laughs you'll share, the people you'll meet. That's what makes this job special. A great bartender isn't just fast or accurate. They make people feel welcome. They know when to talk, when to listen, and when to just slide the drink over with a nod that says, I got you. Whether you're stepping behind the bar for the first time or you've been doing it for years, remember, every pour, every smile, every shift is a chance to make someone's day a little better. And that's what makes you a pro. So keep learning, keep practicing, keep taking pride in your craft, because this isn't just a job, it's a performance, it's hospitality, and it's an art. From me to you, welcome to the family of bartenders. You've got the knowledge, the confidence, and the style. Now go make some magic behind that bar. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm Ryan Keys, and this has been Keys to Bartending. Now go pour something worth remembering.